I'm just saying you better not mess up my left profile again this time. Pika! We're rolling! Hi! Welcome back. Once again, it's time for the Golden Age of DC Comics 365 Days, where I take this beloved hardcover coffee table book given to me about 2 decades ago by one of my best friends. This book has been surfing my coffee table ever since, and has been a constant source of comic book shop style conversations, the kind I wish to recreate today with you right here, right now. So pull up a chair to the coffee table with our coffee table book, bring a cup of whatever you'd like, and just bring yourself and join us, please. I'm gonna wet my whistle. I'm about to talk a bit. Oh wow, that's a good cup of coffee. Fresh cup of coffee. This is Uganda Bugisu Fair Trade. Notes of dark chocolate, raisin, and vanilla. Roasted just the other day. Freshly roasted. Indeed. If it's November the 9th, this was roasted 8 days ago. Yes. Isn't that wonderful? There's a button in my banner. You can always get your own. They deliver. This is not a paid endorsement either. It's just it's my friend's coffee company. It's really awesome. And support local creators and indie people, huh? And so we're using this book for its intended purpose. This is a 365 days book. It is we're going to open up to today's date, which is November the 9th. We're going to look at some comic book art of an antediluvian age. We're going to read the blurb, and then we're going to talk about comic books. And we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. That's right. This is a 2004 Abrams publication, written and curated by Chip Kidd, Les Daniels, and Geoff Spear. There is a link in the description to the Amazon page. If you would like your own copy, it will look great on your coffee table. You could play along at home, and it makes a great gift for a geek. I know. The Golden Age of DC Comics runs between 1938 and 1955. The Silver Age between 1956 and 1970. The Bronze Age, I'm a Bronze Age baby myself, between 1970 and 1984 or 5. And the Copper Age begins in 1985. I get these standards of the ages from the glossary of the most recent Overstreet comic book price guide. This is a great addition to any comic book collection because this is a standard. We can agree. You know, what does Overstreet say? We can go there. That's sometimes we have disputes and we need resolution, and through standards pre-existing and developing, we can reach those resolutions, can we not? Ha! Thank you so very much for tuning in. You are the most important part of this show, this conversation we're having. You are the most important ingredient in our recipe for our show. This ain't my show. Pika might be my producer. This might be a group effort, but it's most definitely a conversation and that we're having. And I hope you're feeling well. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are clobbering your problems and not being clobbered by them. It happens. We get clobbered by our problems, but it's like what Alfred said to Batman and the Christopher Nolan movies. Why do we fall, sir? So do we learn to get up? Something like that, You know what I'm talking about. Let's get to it. It's November 9th. It's story and art by Jack Cole from Plastic Man number 5, autumn of 1946. He's finished, Plaz, but he gave us a tip on weapons. Just one phone call. It's Plastic Man. That's Woozy Winks. You see, he's his buddy, his comic relief sidekick. And yeah, that's Plastic Man saving the day. Hero. There we go. All right. Occasional outbursts of violence marked the generally humorous pages of Plastic Man's adventures, as in this explosive panel. The informer is blown out of the hero's hand by the blast, engineered by a malicious weapons manufacturer. But Plastic Man suffers only a brief attack of elasticity. The unusual design of the panel uses a wall to demarcate zones of safety and danger, with only the invulnerable hero crossing the line. Interesting. Sure, let's look at it again real quick. Okay, I see that line they're talking about. We see a shadow. Perhaps it's, I would say from that perspective and light source there, that's around a corner. So Woozy and Plaz are protected by that. They have turned a corner, so they're on a different wall, at a different plane. So that little explosion there won't affect them. So that's not a gutter. So that's not like a gutter being the two lines between panels in a comic book. The sequence and the sequential art, one could say. Yeah, it's a slow news week. We've covered Plastic Man a few times. We are doing a little series on, we're calling it DK Week. DK for The Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller's, Klaus Johnson's, Lynn Varney's Batman masterpiece of 1986, which changed a lot. Changed the characters, expectations. People really liked a violent Batman, I think, and a snide Batman that has perhaps almost the villain's inner narrative voice and sense of humor, but a good guy. Perhaps Miller turned Batman into an anti-hero in Dark Knight, removing him from his pre-existing space of being the Caped Crusader and superhero. Let me know what you think in the comments. We're going to open up DK3 today, Dark Knight 3, The Master Race. Before that, though, we're going to... there's so much to this. I keep forgetting to mention things, especially that happened in DK2, which is a great little transition piece that just connects Dark Knight Returns in 86 to like the most current stuff. And let's get to it. Just like, here's the floppy version of 86, issue 4 of 4, The Dark Knight Falls. And this is the famous fight with Superman. And I wanted to... But before we get to Dark Knight 3, The Master Race, and reading its indicia, and its specs, and its particulars, let's look at these, just a little bit of this art. Now, I mentioned previously that when you see small squares, such as this, and these rounded edges, these were meant to evoke the television screen. See, now in our current 21st century, televisions don't look like that anymore. That was the distinct shape of the cathode ray tube, CRT, and that were our televisions back then. Now things are done with HD TVs and little pixels on like thin and rectangular, with a the widescreen aspect ratio. That is our that is the shape of our television today, not the cathode ray, the CRT, aspect ratio. And I have numbers popping in my head with a colon, and I'm like, nah, shut up. Just go with it. Don't get too smart. The thing is, though, like, it's about the birth of the 24-hour news cycle happened around this time as well in 1985, in the early 80s. With cable and TV news, you could have a dedicated station. Their sole programming and sole advertisers' interest was to have news and to perpetuate news and to have magazine shows and talking heads and pundits and punditry. A pundit, what's a pundit? Eric, what's a pundit, Sully? Punditry. A pundit is an expert in a particular subject or field who is frequently called on to give opinions about it to the public. So this book lampoons and satires punditry, and it's the dissemination through television, modern media. So this is from we're opening up the trade paperback. So see all. So this is about the news reporting. It's about news, about being informed. So every time you see, these are regular panels right down here where I'm tapping my finger. Those are regular. That's sequential art. Yep. Those are gutters. Yep. And those are the sharp angles. These are the same here too. We have sequential art. We have panels, but those panels are definitely meant to represent a CRT, a cathode ray television. And so there's a theme in Dark Knight of pundits, punditry, the act of being a pundit, and this 24-hour news cycle. So and it was quite predictive of its impact. Now that's just 86's Dark Knight 1. Now we're going to jump ahead, to 2001, 2002's Dark Knight 2. And I just wanted to mention just real quick in Dark Knight 2, Plastic Man. Today's subject in the book, we got Plastic Man. Plastic Man became part of DC Comics, and there we have Plastic Man getting entangled with the Elongated Man, and that's really fun. They're getting the band back together to fight the big bad. But I don't want to get too off subject here, off track, because we got to get to DK3 sometime this week. But the use of evolving media in Dark Knight 2, we have this was written in 2001, 2002, so we got News in the Nudes, where we have this ingenue, young female, beautiful, naked news reporter. We also talk about manipulation of the media by government as well. This is like some evidence that the president's not really real. The president has just been this computer-generated image on the TV that we've been listening to, and it's been manipulated by Lex Luthor and Brainiac. There is no president. Like Jimmy Olsen, reporter, has been being since the opening, where is the president? What is going on? And so we have pundits, we have TV news. But one thing we also have, remember, this is from 2001, 2002. This is 20 years now. We have here the Supergirls, and they're webcam girls. These cosplay girls up here. This totally predicts TikTok, OnlyFans, Thoughts, and e-girls. I mean, I'm serious. These are e-girls, but totally written about in 20 years ago, before social media. This was back when we still had dial-up modems and stuff. But yeah, that's about because we're going into DK3, and I just wanted to hit the ground running because it starts off. This is DK3. Welcome. We've made it to 2015, 2016, and 2015 to 2017. It was 9 issues, and that's how long it took to publish. And it was really good. Now we're gonna compare to our floppy of the original Dark Knight. See the back? This is the edited arc for both of us. We have the cover. Then we have the same design in the back cover. I love that. I love the unity and the aesthetic of it. So there's an expectation to a Dark Knight magazine. And remember, drink every time I say I'll read from the wiki real quick. The Dark Knight 3, The Master Race, also stylized as DK3, The Master Race, and later collected as Batman The Dark Knight 3, The Master Race, is a 2015 to 17 9-issue DC Comics limited series co-written by Frank Miller and Brian Azzarello, and illustrated by Miller himself, Andy Kubert, and Klaus Janson. This is a sequel This series is a sequel to Miller's 1986 Batman miniseries, The Dark Knight Returns, and the 2001 miniseries, The Dark Knight Strikes Again, continuing the story of an aged Bruce Wayne resuming his identity as a crime fighter, aided by his sidekick, Carrie Kelly. And this features Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and Kandorians. And Ray Palmer, the Atom, restores 1,000 of the inhabitants of Kandor to their proper size, and all hell breaks loose. It's about a clash of ideologies. It's like there was a simmering point in 2015. I would also throw, I would love to say that 2015 was a dividing line for a new age of comics that we're currently in. And something is using satire. We've talked about how Dark Knight uses satire as an active ingredient. It is blatant from day one, so it's part and parcel with the expectation of the Frank Miller Dark Knight story. So there's no use saying like, oh, we're intersecting things in here, or oh, this guy's being too one-sided here, or no, those are moot points. Why? Because we have a full expectation with the Frank Miller specific. This is a boutique item, and this is actually a really great artifact to that notion that this is a boutique item. This went for $5.99, and this has no ads. This is on great paper stock. So 6 times 9 is 54. So this cost about $54 altogether, just for 9 issues. I wonder what the trade paperback would cost. It's usually less, but that and let's see. Look at all of this moody coloring. It's great, but this is what I wanted to say about social media, about this evolution of using pundits, punditry, and the talking heads of television. We're going to start right at the beginning. We have a close-up of the Batman suit. Oh, the turkey's done. The case breaking, and then there's the suit. We have 3 panels. This is a sequence. We have a display of a bat suit. We have breaking glass, then we have broken glass and a mannequin. What can we assume out of this? That somebody's put on the bat suit. But over here, what do we have? The distinctive look and spelling of SMS texting culture. Now we've put something that's really, really huge in our culture that wasn't around in 1986, that was not around in 2001, 2002. Smartphones and text culture, and it's the bat. Nobody's seen him in 3 or 4 years. Bat for 3 years, yeah. I guess I'm nobody then. The bat's gone, or is they? Or are they? Is they? But see, and an emoji as a response. This is how we talk. This is social media. This is Twitter. This is texting. This is how we still talk. This is so it's showing this. And here we go once again. And this is what we can expect out of a Frank Miller Dark Knight book. Talking heads, punditry, the 24-hour news cycle. There's a theme of that about this news cycle, and of course, Miller's going to lay into certain hosts and from his unique point of view. I'm not going to get into Miller's politics. I'm not going to even get into my own politics. What I will get into, though, is a good issue of Comicbooks, though, and respect things. So we're going to wrap it up here. I'm just going to, 2 things we're going to get into tomorrow's episode. We're going to do a part 2 on DK3, and like inside the center of every issue is a mini issue. That's what I was talking about as an artifact of a boutique genre of thing. Look at this. This is a mini comic inside the comic that you could remove if you wanted to. No, thank you. That would ruin everything. like this resale value. But look at this beautiful. This is Lara, so the Supergirl, trying to summon her father out of his malaise. A Superman trapped under ice, not doing anything, not doing his job. I mean, and this is years before the lockdown 2020 and those feelings of isolation and of not being, So I mean, just this is I think a really interesting thing of Superman. This is a lot to do with Superman and Batman's relationship, and fixing it. So Dark Knight 3, I really enjoy it, and I hope you will too. And we're gonna get into more of it tomorrow. And we've been talking about comic books, and you know what? We're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. That's right. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. Great way to learn how to tell time. Turn on those notifications, and you'll eventually you'll be like, it must be 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. I can tell time. True that. We make daily content. We make regular content. I talk about cooking, spirituality, gratitude, purpose, bunnies eating their breakfast, planets in the morning sky, and just whatever's on my mind. So come on aboard. All are welcome. And pull up a chair to our coffee table. We will see you again tomorrow in those funny pages. Namaste, good luck, and God bless you. Cheers. Bye-bye.